When my wife, Claire, asked me to help out at her clothing store, I didn't think much of it. It seemed like a straightforward job, folding clothes, assisting customers, maybe working the register when it got busy. Claire had always been ambitious, and her boutique was her pride and joy. She'd poured her heart into building it from the ground up, curating collections that catered to women who wanted to feel confident and beautiful. She called it Ethereal Threads, and the name fit. Walking into the store felt like stepping into a cloud of soft fabrics, pastel colors, and elegant designs. "James, you'll do fine," she reassured me as we drove to the store that morning. "It's not rocket science. Besides, I'll be there to guide you." I wasn't sure how I'd feel working in a women's clothing store. As a guy in my early 30s, my fashion sense barely extended beyond jeans, t-shirts, and the occasional button-down shirt. Still, I trusted Claire's judgment. She was sharp, organized, and persuasive. If she believed I could do it, then I probably could. The first week was uneventful. I mostly handled stock, unpacking shipments, tagging items, and arranging displays. Claire would occasionally ask me to model a jacket or hold up a scarf to see how it looked. I laughed it off, thinking nothing of it. The store was busier than I expected, and it wasn't long before I started helping customers. Claire said I had a knack for recommending outfits. I figured I was just repeating what I'd heard her say to other shoppers. Then came the day that changed everything. It started innocently enough. A shipment of new dresses had arrived, and Claire was excited to put them on display. She was short-staffed that day, so she asked me to help. I stood by the fitting rooms, handing dresses to customers and giving polite feedback when asked. "James, can you hold this for a moment?" Claire handed me a lavender dress with delicate lace trim. "Sure," I said, draping it over my arm. I glanced at the dress. The fabric was soft, almost weightless, and the design was simple yet elegant. Something about it intrigued me. I couldn't explain why, but I felt an odd pull toward it. As the day went on, the curiosity grew. I found myself stealing glances at the dresses on the racks, wondering how they felt, how they moved. It was a quiet afternoon, and Claire was busy in her office. I was alone in the store when the thought crossed my mind. What if I tried one on? It was ridiculous. I laughed at myself, shaking my head, but the idea wouldn't go away. Finally, I gave in. I locked the door to the fitting room, grabbed the lavender dress, and slipped it over my head. The moment it settled on my shoulders, I froze. The fabric felt like a second skin, light and smooth against my body. I turned to look in the mirror. The sight was surprising. I wasn't expecting much, but the dress fit surprisingly well. It hugged my frame in a way that felt oddly comforting. "James?" Claire's voice startled me. I panicked, yanking the dress off and stuffing it back on the hanger. My heart pounded as I opened the fitting room door. Claire stood there, arms crossed, a bemused expression on her face. "Were you trying on a dress?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. I stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but she waved it off. "Relax," she said, smiling. "I don't mind. Honestly, I think it's kind of sweet." Her reaction caught me off guard. I expected her to laugh or tease me, but she seemed genuinely unbothered. If anything, she looked amused. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "if you're going to try on dresses, you should at least let me help you pick one that suits you." I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. Over the next few days, Claire became my biggest enabler. She encouraged me to experiment, pulling outfits from the racks and urging me to try them on. At first, I was hesitant, but her enthusiasm was infectious. She treated it like a fun project, teaching me about cuts, colors, and fabrics. "See? This A-line dress works because it creates a balanced silhouette," she explained one afternoon, adjusting the hem of a floral dress I was wearing. Her attention to detail was impressive. She taught me how to accessorize, how to walk in heels, and even how to apply light makeup. It felt strange at first, but also liberating. For the first time in years, I was stepping out of my comfort zone, exploring a side of myself I didn't know existed. Claire insisted it was all in good fun, but I couldn't ignore how much she seemed to enjoy it. She'd light up whenever she saw me in a new outfit, her eyes sparkling with pride. It was like she'd discovered a new hobby, and I was her canvas. "You look amazing," she said one evening, snapping a photo of me in a sleek black dress. I laughed, shaking my head. "You're biased?" "Maybe," she admitted, "but I mean it. You have a natural elegance. You should be proud of yourself." As the weeks went by, my role at the store evolved. I still handled stock and assisted customers, but now I also modeled outfits for the store's social media. Claire said it was good marketing, and to my surprise, the posts received a lot of positive feedback. Customers started asking for me by name, wanting my opinion on their purchases. It wasn't long before I noticed a change in myself. I felt more confident, more expressive. Dressing up had become a form of self-expression, a way to connect with a part of myself I'd always ignored. Claire noticed the change too. She said I seemed happier, more comfortable in my skin. One evening, as we closed up the store, she turned to me with a thoughtful look. "James," she said, "have you ever thought about exploring this side of yourself more seriously?" "What do you mean?" I asked, unsure where she was going with this. "I mean," she said, choosing her words carefully, "you seem to enjoy this. Maybe it's more than just a fun experiment. Maybe it's part of who you are." Her words lingered with me long after we went home. Was she right? Was this more than just a quirky phase? The idea both excited and terrified me. I wasn't sure what it meant or where it would lead, but I knew one thing for certain. I wasn't ready to stop. Over time, my transformation became a natural part of my life. Claire continued to support me, encouraging me to explore and embrace my newfound identity. The store became more than just a workplace. It became a space where I could be myself, free from judgment or expectation. Customers started to notice the change too. Some were curious, others complimentary. A few were surprised, but no one was outright hostile. In fact, many seemed inspired by my willingness to break the mold. "You're brave," one customer said, smiling as I helped her find a dress. "I wish I had your confidence." Her words stayed with me. It wasn't bravery, really. It was just authenticity. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was living as my true self, unburdened by societal expectations or self-doubt. Claire and I grew closer through the experience. She became not just my wife, but my biggest ally, my confidant, and my cheerleader. Together, we built something special, a store that wasn't just about selling clothes, but about empowering people to express themselves, no matter who they were. Looking back, I never would have imagined that taking a job at my wife's store would lead to such a profound journey of self-discovery. But life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it? Sometimes, the smallest decisions, like trying on a dress, can lead to the most unexpected and beautiful transformations. As the months passed, my role in the store and my understanding of myself evolved in ways I never could have anticipated. Claire and I had found a rhythm, a balance between work and the personal journey we were on together. The store became more than just a boutique. It became a stage where I could experiment and explore. One evening, after the shop had closed, Claire brought out a box I hadn't seen before. It was wrapped in delicate tissue paper, tied with a satin bow. "What's this?" I asked, curiosity piqued. "Open it," she said, her smile enigmatic. Inside was a dress unlike any I'd worn before. It was a deep emerald green, with intricate embroidery along the neckline and a flowing skirt that seemed to shimmer even in the soft light of the shop. "I had it custom-made," she explained. "I thought it would suit you." For a moment, I was speechless. The gesture was so thoughtful, so intimate, that it left me reeling. "Claire, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll try it on," she said, her eyes twinkling. I didn't need much convincing. I slipped into the dress, and as it settled on my frame, I felt an overwhelming sense of belonging. The fabric seemed to embrace me, as if it had been waiting for this moment as much as I had. Claire's expression softened. "You look stunning," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I turned to the mirror, and for the first time, I didn't see a man in a dress. I saw me. The realization was both thrilling and terrifying. I wasn't just cross-dressing anymore. I was discovering a version of myself that I hadn't known existed. As my confidence grew, so did my involvement in the store. I started hosting styling workshops, teaching customers how to mix and match outfits or find pieces that complemented their unique body types. To my surprise, the workshops became a hit. Women of all ages came to learn, and many returned, not just for the clothes but for the sense of community we had created. "You have a gift," Claire said one evening as we tallied up the day's sales. "People feel comfortable around you. You make them feel seen." Her words meant more to me than she realized. For years, I had felt invisible, blending into the background of my own life. Now, I was stepping into the spotlight, not as someone else, but as myself. Of course, not everything was smooth sailing. There were challenges, moments of doubt, and the occasional awkward encounter. One particularly memorable moment came when an old friend from college walked into the store. "James," he said, his eyes widening in disbelief. "Is that you?" I froze, unsure of how to respond. I was wearing a fitted blouse and a pencil skirt, my hair styled, and my makeup subtle but polished. There was no hiding or pretending. I was fully myself. "Yes," I said finally, standing tall. "It's me." He stared at me for a long moment, his expression unreadable. Then, to my surprise, he smiled. "Well, I'll be damned," he said, chuckling. "You look great, man." Or, is it man? I don't want to mess this up. His awkwardness was endearing, and I couldn't help but laugh. "It's still man for now," I said. "But thank you." After he left, I felt a strange sense of relief. It wasn't the reaction I had feared, but it also wasn't an unconditional embrace. It was real. And in that authenticity, I found a kind of comfort. The real turning point came during the store's annual fashion show. Every year, Claire hosted an event to showcase the latest collection, complete with a runway, music, and a small crowd of loyal customers and local fashion enthusiasts. This year, she had a surprise in store. "I want you to model," she announced one afternoon as we were finalizing the lineup. I stared at her, convinced I had misheard. "Me? On the runways?" "Why not?" she said, her tone matter-of-fact. "You've been modeling for our social media. This is just a bigger stage." The idea terrified me. Walking down a runway in front of a live audience was worlds apart from posing for a camera in the relative privacy of the store. But Claire was insistent. "You've come so far," she said, her eyes filled with pride. "This is your moment to shine." Despite my nerves, I agreed. Over the next few weeks, we rehearsed tirelessly. Claire coached me on everything from posture to pacing, making sure I was ready for the big night. When the evening finally arrived, I was a bundle of nerves. The backstage area was buzzing with energy as models prepared for their turns on the runway. I wore the emerald green dress Claire had given me, paired with a pair of silver heels that made me feel like I was floating. As my turn approached, Claire squeezed my hand. "You've got this," she said, her smile reassuring. Stepping onto the runway was like stepping into another world. The lights were blinding, the music pulsating, the audience a blur of faces. But as I walked, a strange calm washed over me. I wasn't just wearing a dress. I was embodying a part of myself that had been waiting to be seen. The applause was deafening. For a moment, I forgot where I was. All I knew was the exhilaration, the sense of freedom, the joy of being completely and unapologetically me. The fashion show was a resounding success, and the response to my appearance was overwhelmingly positive. Customers approached me afterward, sharing their own stories of self-discovery and thanking me for being brave enough to share mine. "You've inspired me," one woman said, tears in her eyes. "I've always been afraid to step out of my comfort zone. Seeing you up there gave me the courage to try." Her words touched me deeply. I hadn't set out to inspire anyone. I was just trying to figure myself out. But in sharing my journey, I had inadvertently created a ripple effect, encouraging others to embrace their own truths. As I reflect on how far I've come, I'm struck by how much my life has changed. What started as a simple job at my wife's store turned into a journey of self-discovery, one that has reshaped my understanding of who I am and what I'm capable of. Claire and I are closer than ever, our bond strengthened by the shared adventure. The store has thrived, becoming a beacon of inclusivity and empowerment in our community. And I found a sense of purpose, a passion for helping others see the beauty in themselves. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the most profound transformations. For me, it all started with a dress and the courage to try it on. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.